Welcome back to another episode of Convos with Corryn. I am so glad that you guys have decided to join me for another episode. Today, we are going to talk about values. Values, what are they? Why are they so important? And have you identified them for yourself? Today, we're going to talk about a concept that we all understand, but one that seldom, I think many of us identify for ourselves, what our values are. So today we're going to explore what values are, why they're so important, and some ideas for you to identify your values. And I'm happy to share my values with you all. Most recently, I read a book called A Renaissance of Our Own by a woman named Rachel Cargles. And in that book, she talks about building your own life's manifesto. And in her earlier chapters, she really takes the reader through the importance of values identification. She goes through how she was able to identify her values. At the end of the chapter, she takes the reader through a number of exercises to help them identify their personal values. Many of these exercises I had never done before, and I had honestly never really reflected deeply on my values. And I want to just take a moment to talk a bit about what values are and why they're so important. Your values are the pillars upon which you build the house that is your life. The pillars upon which you build the house that is your business or your career. Your values are really your guiding North Star that help you identify when you're headed in the right direction in life versus when you've veered off course. It is really important that you are intentional about creating and determining your values. Otherwise, you might actually be surprised about what you end up prioritizing in your life. You are the master of your fate and the captain of your own destiny. And if you aren't intentional about deciding what your values are, it becomes very easy for you to just go with the flow of dominant society, go with the flow of what is presented to you. And in reality, the values of dominant society, or the values even of your family structure, might not necessarily align with who it is that you are and the places that you want to go in your own life. Rachel Cargles takes the reader through 4 exercises to identify our highest values or our core values. The first is considering the content of your daydreams. When you daydream, what are the things that you daydream about? Write it all down. Every idea that you have when you find yourself escaping and you're in the most pleasurable, enjoyable place in your life. What are those things? Make them visible on paper. The second exercise is meeting your future self. And this one was absolutely the most enjoyable for me. Meeting your future self is a meditation where you sit, close your eyes, breathe, and allow your future self to come to you. However old that person is, allow them to come to you. Take note of how they are dressed, of the setting that you are in, and listen to the words of wisdom that they have for you about your life. As you are listening to your future self, make sure that you are really paying attention and taking note of what it is that they're saying about where they are in life, the advice it is that they are giving you. All of those things, allow it to come to you. Don't try too hard. Don't stress. For me, it took me about 30 minutes before I was able to really get into the exercise and see my higher self and really take in the information that my higher self gave me. And after you come out of the meditation, write down everything that your higher self gave you, as much that you can possibly remember. Put that all on paper as well. The third exercise is identifying your goals in life. Write down 10 to 15 of your life's biggest goals for your career, for your personal life, for your health, whatever it is. 10 to 15 of your biggest goals, also write those down as well. And the last exercise is identifying who you admire. Who are the people? Name 5 people that you admire. And what are the qualities about them that you admire so much about them? Identify the characteristics that they have that you like and are wishing to embody. After you've done the exercise, look at everything that you've written down and assess what are 3 to 4 common themes that you are seeing across all of your writing, right? And once you've identified those 3 to 4 common themes, summate each theme in one word. And that, my friends, is how you identify your 3 to 4 highest core values. And once you've identified those things, you should write them down, keep them on you so you always remember them, and then keep them in your heart as you are operating in your daily life, in your career, and consider these things in every decision that you make. Now, what are my 4 values at Convos with Corryn? Exploration, evolution, community, and enterprise. These 4 things kept coming up as I did all of my exercises. I consider myself someone who genuinely enjoys building plans, ideating, making things real. I am here to help build vehicles that create the change that I want to see in the world. That in and of itself is the enterprising. I'm here to take ideas out of the ether, figure out how to make them real, and create vehicles for change for the broader society. Community. Community is so critical in my personal life and in the work that I do. I firmly believe that we are only able to achieve true freedom through community, and I think it is really important that we all are able to find communities where each of us belong and are accepted and that are conducive to how we give and receive love for the betterment of the world. Exploration. My whole life, I have been a curious person. I have a million, thousand, billion questions. I have always had many questions. And I firmly believe that the path to growth is through exploration and curiosity. So exploration in everything that I do is prioritized for the sake of evolution. Exploration and transformation are core parts to my purpose in this lifetime. I am here to grow, to change, to consistently become, to transform, to help throw out the old and create and build the new. Those are my 4 highest values, and the way that I use them is I consider them in everything that I'm doing. I consider them as a mom. I consider them as a wife. I consider them in the businesses that I want to build. I consider them in my day job. And I consider them in my free time, in doing the things that I do on a daily basis. And those, my friends, are my highest values and how I came to discover them. I hope you all were able to find some value in today's episode. If you did, please leave a comment with your 3 or 4 highest values and the results of you doing those exercises to find your highest values. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed today's episode. Thank you so much for hanging out with me.